Hey guys, so today's video is very different. So last night I had a dream and I was just like, I have to tell you guys, like I have to make a video about this dream. So this dream kind of freaked me out because I feel like not necessarily like it was trying to tell me or warn me of anything, but this dream was basically everything that goes on in my thoughts, like all the feelings and emotions I've had ever since I left the ICOC, the relationships I've had since I've left. And it was just all wrapped up in this one dream. So I'm in the car with my mother-in-law, and we come from grocery shopping. I'm not sure why she was even in the dream, but she was in it. We park the car, and she tells me to wait with the bags outside the car for her because she went to go to someone's house or something, so she walks up the block. So this teenager comes walking by, a Jewish girl. She's like about 15 years old. And then she compliments me and tells me how pretty I am and how she wishes that she could wear clothes like what I wear. And she's wearing like all black, a long skirt. You know how Jewish people dress. I'm like, you know, you're beautiful too. And she goes on talking about how much she hates being Jewish. She hates having to go to church all the time, and she can't wear the clothes she wants, and that she just does not feel like she can understand her religion. I'm trying to be careful what I say to her because I feel like she is talking to me as if she wants advice, similar to how you guys talk to me and want advice. I just start telling her, you know, one day when you're older, you can develop your own beliefs and your own ideas of religion. And until then, you know, just hang in there. She walks away, she says goodbye. So I start walking into this building. And I think that at first in the dream, I thought that that building was my house. And I open the door. To my right is an office with people having some sort of a meeting. And when they all turn around, I look at them and they're actually my coworkers from my old job and my boss. So that my ex-boss says to me, well, Tina, we've been waiting for you. It took you long enough. And I'm confused because I'm like, the hell is she talking about? I don't work for you anymore. Like, I'm not here for no meeting. And I keep walking. I walk like down this short hall and there's another door. So I walk through that door. I guess I'm assuming that that's probably my apartment. So I open the door and it's a huge room. It's like a classroom. But it looks almost similar to the classroom I used to work in because I used to be a teacher's assistant. In this big classroom is everyone from the ICOC. Like, I'm seeing faces of people that I forgot that I even knew. And then my other boss is there. And everyone is holding a Bible in their hand. And it sounds really weird, but this is literally like how my dream went. Both my bosses are standing next to each other. And next to them is the woman that was my discipling partner before I left the ICOC. The one who I always say that like she hurt me the most because she said some really mean things right when I had decided to leave. And then my boss goes, we've been waiting for you, Tina. Why did you take so long? Everyone, Tina's here now. Now we can begin. So I'm like, this is some creepy occult looking type stuff going on. Like, I walked through the wrong door. This is not where I'm supposed to be, and I'm still holding these grocery bags in my hand. She points at a chair. She's like, go sit over there. So I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll stand up. She's like, you know what, Tina? I feel like you've been very prideful. You have heart issues, and you've been having a lot of difficulties lately because you haven't been with the church. You have been your own greatest downfall. So we're all gonna pray for you. I try to leave, and then the door closes. I don't know if someone closed it or closed by itself. All the people that are inside the room are people that was a part of both ICOC churches I was in. They all stand up and they start like crowding around me. It was creepy. And I'm just like, the hell are all these people around me for? My boss says, I think we need to pray for Tina. Since Tina doesn't like to pray anymore and she has a problem with praying, let's teach her how to pray again. I'm like, no, leave me alone. I don't want this. And everyone just starts praying. But the way they're praying, it's like chanting kind of way. Oh, God. God, remove Satan from the room. Yes, Lord God. And I'm just like, yo, these people are freaking crazy. I felt like they were trying to possess me, or like they thought I was already possessed. All of a sudden, this guy, he pushes me in my head. Like, he wanted me to fall over. Like, you know those churches where they're like going like this and they like push the person and then you're supposed to fall back and start like convulsing. My instincts, I turn around, I hit him. Don't touch me. Whop! Right across like his face. So then my boss, she starts screaming, get the demons out, get the demons out. It's all Satan, it's all Satan. Like, now at this point, they think it's Satan. They was like crazy. The more closer everyone came, and so basically I was blocked in. So I'm covering my ears. No. I start falling on the floor. It's like the more that they're praying, oh Lord, I physically feel weak. Like, I can't stand up. So I start slowly falling to the floor, and then I start crawling. And then they start yelling out things that trigger me, things that bother me. She's just prideful. Dear Lord, please remove the pride. It's Satan. You're struggling. You must come back or you're gonna go to hell. You're not good enough for God. And it was insane. It felt like literally my soul inside was shriveling up and dying, and I was trying to hold on to life. I'm thinking, maybe if I cover my ears and if I don't hear what they're saying, I'll regain my strength, because it felt like they were trying to break down who I was in that moment. There's like these floating words across the floor, floating towards me. Prideful, ego, unbeliever, struggler, heart issues. So they're yelling and chanting the whole time, but my boss is like the loudest. In real life, my ex-boss was like a loud woman. She's this black lady who goes to one of those black churches, and we all know about them black churches. God, yes Lord, yes Lord. I've been to those churches and it's not my cup of tea. My father used to pastor in one of those. So in the dream, she was the loud leader of the group and everyone else was chanting with her. But for some reason, the woman that used to be my discipling partner that was standing next to her, she just stood there, stared at me kind of like in disappointment. I told you so kind of look. Like, you should have stayed or you should have stuck with us and this wouldn't be happening to you right now. Anyway, the words are floating and I'm crawling across the floor and my soul starts to elevate. It comes out of my body and my body is there and I'm starting to kind of like shrivel up, but my soul is like literally coming out and it's floating away and it's leaving a trail, and it's still some left. The more of it releases from my body, the more weak I begin to feel. And then right when it completely leaves my body, I scream no, and then I wake up. And when I woke up, I felt weird. I think it's because I didn't sleep a lot last night that I felt so tired. I think that was really why. But the dream, I think it messed with me psychologically, which then got to me physically, because then it made me feel like I really was kind of weak. I'm known to have the most insane dreams. My husband is always like, when you go to sleep, you don't really sleep. You're watching movies, and they're movies that you make with your own mind. I'm a creative person. I have a very creative mind. I'm an overthinker, and it's very easy for me to just invent things in my head. But for some reason, this past year, I have not been able to remember my dreams. I used to remember every dream. This particular dream, I was real surprised that I remembered. So now I just want to kind of tell you guys what I personally think it was about. The Jewish girl symbolized the viewers to watch my channel. My bosses both being in the dream, this is what I get from that, 100%. After I left the ICOC, I started to have relationships, whether it was friendships, relationships at work with coworkers, or relationship with my boss. The relationships I had a very yes attitude, the same way I had a yes attitude in the ICOC, where I felt like I had to submit to the authority figure. I kept my mouth shut in times when I didn't want to, and I held back in times when I shouldn't have, and that's exactly what I did in the ICOC. And that was something that was still in me from my indoctrination of the ICOC. The boss that I had, she kind of liked to have control. She was loud, intimidating, was one of those people who, I say it, it goes, you do it, or you get the hell out of here. My other boss was in the dream as well. She played a role in the dream as the person who set this whole thing up. I'm walking into a building thinking it's my house, when really it's just a bunch of people here to do a crazy occultic intervention on me. And that's how my boss was in real life. Very sneaky, very snakish, pretend like she didn't know what happened when really she was the problem the whole time. And then my discipling partner, she didn't speak because she had a look of I told you so. When I left the ICOC and I told my discipling partner that I was leaving the ICOC, she said a lot of things to me that really, really stuck. I tried my best to just remove it and to just rid myself and cleanse myself of it. But every now and then, I still think about the things that she said, and it still hurts me, and I still do have upset feelings towards this woman. All the people from both churches I was a part of, they just played the role of who they are in real life. People who tried to recruit you, and I was in this room having my identity stripped from me, having my power taken away. So the more that these people rubbed in my face how horrible I am and how I'm not enough and how I'm just a sinner and how I'm not living right, I'm not going to heaven, the more that my identity that I've worked so hard on over these past 2 years was beginning to just break apart and to just fall off. It was like when I was shriveling to the floor, it felt like pieces of my flesh was like cracking off, not to sound gross, and they were digging deep into the part that hurts. They were digging into my pain, trying to take off the exterior, which is my strength. And once they were able to do that, I fell to the floor and the rest of my body started to shrivel, and they were trying to take my soul, trying to make me into one of them. And because I was resisting so much and I kept screaming no and kept covering my ears, they had to do things that they knew were going to get to me. So if I can't hear it, I could see it, which is where the floating words came in. All the trigger words that was in my dream, all the things that was said to me in my dream and yelled out at me were things that I've heard a lot. They were things that have kept me in the ICOC for 7 years. Things that made me start this channel. Things that caused me to have breakdowns when I joined this new church that I'm in now. I basically felt like I was trying my hardest to hold on to who I was and to hold on to my soul and to not allow them to take my identity away, because the ICOC took my identity away when I first started doing those studies. I don't think I had this dream because it was some sort of a sign that this is going to happen in some realistic way. I think that this is something that I think about subconsciously and I feel, because on the outside I do have an exterior of strength, and it's not a fake exterior. It's something I've built over these past 2 years, which is what keeps me from breaking down when I feel like maybe they're right, maybe I'm not enough for God, maybe I am gonna go to hell. This is what I built, and I don't allow anyone to penetrate it, not even this new church I'm a part of, the comments that people leave on the videos that are negative. I don't allow anyone to break through. So I feel like this is basically the world against me in this dream. And sometimes it really does feel like that, right? Like sometimes it does feel like you have you as an ex-member of whatever church or organization you were a part of, and then you have the members, and they feel like the rest of the world because they just treat you like you're so different. They treat you like you're just not enough. You're not good enough to be around. You're not good enough to invite places. You're not good enough to continue having a relationship and talking to. And it feels like you did something wrong, like you're just not a good person. And in this dream, they wanted me to feel that way, and I was resisting to it. Therefore, my body and my soul was just being destroyed. So I know that was a crazy freaking dream. Has any of you ever had a dream after you left the ICOC or any organization that you were a part of? Let me know down below in the comment section, and I will see you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of your day. I love you all so much. Bye.